Welcome to another edition of Tim's Vinyl Confessions. I'm Tim Durling. Thank you for tuning in. This one is, as promised, something I picked up not too long ago and listened to it a few times. It's the latest Dream Theater album, The Astonishing. I've got the CD version here. This is a Canadian version. And I've been a Dream Theater fan for a long time. Haven't really listened to them as much in the last couple of years, and now that a new album's out, I've kind of been going back through and delving into my Dream Theater catalog. As a matter of fact, I plan on doing a very special TVC on Dream Theater and my Dream Theater collection coming up shortly. But as for now, I just want to give my overall impressions of the latest album, The Astonishing. It's the first album I've purchased from 2016. That's what it looks like on the side, as has been their last few albums. This one again is on Roadrunner Records, which is distributed by Warner Music of Canada. Back cover, it's a 2-disc album, and as they have done before, this is a concept album. They've done a lot of pre-hype leading up to the release of this. They've been really smart about social media and talking about it, so I was actually kind of on the lookout for it long before I normally would have been, and I guess that's pretty obvious, but again, you know, the social media thing works, especially longtime fans like me. Kind of hard to see there. The credits are written over here. This was produced by their guitarist John Petrucci and mixed by Richard Chicky, who's also worked with Rush. Strong connection there, obviously. Booklet is included inside of the sort of, I guess you'd call it the gatefold CD. And this is a concept album. Like Dream Theater have done concept albums before. This one is sort of set in a dystopian future where there is no music. Some guy comes along, discovers music or has a gift for music and wants to bring it to the people, but is sort of shut down. Any Rush fans out there, does that sound familiar? It's very similar in the basic premise to the storyline behind 2112, but it's not an uncommon idea. It's just a variation on the theme, and obviously it's more fleshed out because whereas 2112 was a 20-minute piece and that was it, this is 2 full CDs worth of telling this story. And, you know, kind of like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, there are invented place names, invented characters. It's a story about a guy named Gabriel who's like probably named for good reason. He's supposed to be the savior of this particular universe, and the powers that be don't want to hear about it. And so each of the characters are featured here inside the booklet. And I don't know if this is their intention or not, but this would make a really interesting movie. Even like a CGI movie. I'd actually go to see it with a great soundtrack. Yes, what does the music itself sound like? Well, I thought you'd never ask. This, if you've never been a Dream Theater fan, if you're not a prog metal, prog, hard rock fan, this is not going to change your mind. It really isn't. It's typical Dream Theater. It's all over the place. There are light moments, there are really heavy moments, there are dramatic moments. It's the same lineup that they've had since 2010, 2011 when Mike Portnoy left, which, no disrespect to Mike Mangini at all, that still seems strange to me. It's like Lars Ulrich leaving Metallica. You always think of that he was like such a main guy. But they've got Mike Mangini, terrific drummer, and the band is solid. James LaBrie singing great on this. I would direct you to the first video. If I'm smart about this, I'll post a link to it, called The Gift of Music, which my friend Matt, who's appeared on this show many times, has pointed out to me that it's actually quite poppy for them, which took me by surprise because Dream Theater and poppy never come into my radar. But I suppose it is very accessible, very easily accessible, even though it's got some typical Dream Theater prog movements in it. I'm very happy that this album, it seems to be doing well, which is a testament to the die-hard Dream Theater fan base. Their last few albums have charted quite well. I don't know how they're selling, but they do well on the road. I've never actually gotten to see DT live. They've never come around to my area. The closest I came to seeing Dream Theater in concert was in 1998. They were on tour with Emerson, Lake and Palmer and Deep Purple. And they came to, I want to say it was Portland, Maine, which I've seen shows there before, but I'd already seen a couple shows that summer. didn't really have in the budget, to be quite honest with you. I'm not an ELP fan, so I didn't want to go see Dream Theater play for 45, 50 minutes, wait for Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and then wait for Deep Purple, who I do like. But Dream Theater would have been the main drawing card. I'd rather go see them on their own. Maybe someday. Who knows? So this is the latest Dream Theater album from 2016. My first purchase of 2016. I don't know what else is on deck for 2016 for bands that I would want to pick up. I know Cheap Trick have a new album coming out, so there's one. Would like to think that soon we'll be hearing about some more classic bands still making new music. I'm all about that. So again, hope to be bringing you a TVC that's on my Dream Theater collection in the weeks, maybe months to come. But as far as the Astonishing goes, if you are a fan, you'll like it. If you've never listened to them before, I would say check out The Gift of Music, the first single. And it's pretty easy to hear other snippets from it online. It's great musicianship. Some of it's heavy, some of it's very light. It's always very melodic, and musicianship is just bar none. That's the Dream Theater way. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Tim's Vinyl Confessions.